Hey, Brandon here with Flycraft, and today I'm going to give you a really detailed view of the Stealth 2.0. That's our two-person self-bailing model. It's just like our classic original Stealth, but we made it 5 inches wider, so it's 51 inches wide. It's about 12 feet, 11 and a half is the hull length, and the frame sticks out to about 12, and it is self-bailing. And since we don't have any dealers, there's really no way to see one in person unless you know someone or you're in Salt Lake City and you come by our showroom. So this video really is kind of like that. It'd be like if you met me at a trade show or you came by the showroom. I'm gonna try and answer as many questions as you might have. Back to the specs, 11 and a half feet long, 51 inches wide. The tubes are 16. It's self-bailing with a completely rigid, high-pressure drop stitch floor. So this floor really is rigid as I'm saying. It's not like any other inflatable boat you've been in with a squishy floor. It's drop stitch, just like those inflatable stand-up paddle boards. So when you put the appropriate amount of air pressure in there, it feels like a hard bottom boat under your feet, which gives you great stand-up stability. It's a lot less fatiguing when you're standing. Traditional rafts with a squishy floor don't handle like drift boats. So this floor being rigid, it makes it plain out on the water when you're back rowing, crab rowing, easy to anchor. Also 5 inches thick of air adds a lot of buoyancy, which is why this boat only has a 3 to 4 inch draft, meaning it only sits that deep in the water. Also, the weight of this boat is only 103 pounds, and that's loaded up. It's really easy for one person to load rooftop, back a truck, on a trailer. It packs up small enough you can put this entire boat, frame, seats and all, disassembled in the trunk of something small, even like a Toyota Corolla or an RV compartment or a van. As far as stability goes, so this boat truly is a unique size, and a lot of people look at it and think it's narrow. I think once you go in it, I actually know you're gonna think every other boat is too wide. We've really maximized stability with the lower profile tubes paired with a rigid floor. Quite often, I'm out fishing with a buddy. I am fighting a fish off one side, standing up, maybe have my foot right here on this side tube. My buddy's leaning over to net it, and Pasta is obviously gonna try and sniff and lick the fish. We are just fine. I go swimming out of this boat, climb in over the side. If you're a canoe or kayak person, you can understand how that doesn't work in a boat like that. But it is very, very stable, and its unique size makes it just track so much better. It's so much easier to row. You can get into rivers that other boats can't, but you can also get into all the bigger rivers that the drift boat floats. Another thing that's unique about our boat that you'll see in a lot of whitewater rafts, but really in most fishing rafts, I don't see them doing it as much as I'd like, is this rocker in the bow and the stern. And the rocker is that kick up that you see here. What that does is it gives you quite a few advantages. One, you still have a lot of inside space of the boat, but that part of the boat is out of the water. So you have gear storage, place for your dog to walk around, you to stand, that type of thing. But your running length of the boat that's in the water is shorter, so this thing spins on a dime. It also helps you punch through those rapids as you may need to, and in the back of the boat, it really helps when you're back rowing. If you've ever been in a boat and your buddy hooked a log with a streamer and he's like, I don't want to lose my fly, and you're trying to back row and you're like, sorry bud, I can't make it. This boat will get there. You can get upstream because once again, you're only drafting probably 3-4 inches deep, and the water's just rushing under that rocker against the rigid floor. You can get upstream fast. If you're coming up to a rapid and you want to take a little time to boat scout it, 1, 2, 3 back rows, and you're just planed out stalled, even in a swift current, while you inspect what's below. And it also helps a lot with anchorability. 20 to 25, I normally run a 25 on this pound anchor, is all you need, even on some of the fastest of the Rocky Mountain rivers out here. We're talking the Madison, sections of the Snake, on and on. And it's kind of amazing where boats that had flatter designs, I needed heavier anchors because water was just pushing against the back of it. That rocker, maneuverability, all of that is going to help you too when you are floating in really tight little rivers. You're going to be blown away. My classic term of it is this can float rivers that you really have no business floating, but with this boat, you do. Part of that with the shallow draft, unique size, maneuverability is paired with our shallow water oar. So you'll see on the blade of our shallow water oar, with these shoal cut oars, you have the entire running length of the oar to the water depth. So if it's 3 inches deep, you have that much oar 3 inches deep in the water, which is a night and day difference. A symmetrical blade oar, if you're in a 3-inch riffle, you only have the tip of the blade in the water. It's very hard to control the boat in a fast riffle, and if the river's bending at the bottom, that might mean smashing into the bank. Going back to those riffles, 3-inch draft, this durability, that means if a 1-inch riffle's coming up, I normally just crank on the oars, speed up, and scrape through it. Very rare I need to get out to get my boat through any sort of shallow water situation. So this boat really is like a hybrid that can do what a canoe or a kayak can do. It can do what a drift boat can do. You can put a motor on the back, which we'll go more into detail in a little bit. Instead of having all these various boats for different purposes, this really does it all. You can even add a 3rd seat for kids on the back. This boat is just meant for 2 adults though, so if you do want a 3rd seat for an adult, you'll want to look at our X or our guide. So since this boat's gonna take you to a lot of places that other boats can't, you might have your own secret river because there's no boat ramp. So you're dragging it down a big gravel bank or boulder garden, that type of thing. Maybe the stream is too small for most boats to get down. In those situations, you're going to be making contacts with a lot of rocks and sticks, and this boat is built for exactly that. It's a very durable 1100 denier PVC. The frame is anodized aluminum. All the hardware is stainless steel, so very rust resistant and also great for saltwater use. And the bottom of the boat is reinforced very heavily. So the whole bottom of the boat is 2 layers thick of PVC, and each corner there's an additional 2-ply of skid plates. Those corners really take the brunt of the abuse. If you watch any of our videos, you'll see, I mean, these are meant to be used. That's why a lot of fishing guides count on these boats to guide out of all guide season 5, 6, 7 days a week, which I think we all wish we could fish that much, but if they hold up for the fishing guides, I think they're gonna be good for the rest of us. So with how heavily reinforced these boats are, rocks and sticks really shouldn't ever be a problem. If you do ever have a problem, you know how to contact us. We include a repair kit. Very unlikely you'll need it. We also have a 3-year warranty, and we're really easy to work with there. So one of the most common questions I do get is an inflatable boat with fish hooks. How's that gonna work? One, this material is very rugged, but with 16-inch tubes and little hooks, even big saltwater hooks, they're not going to be able to grab a 16-inch tube. So even if you slap a cast against it, the point is not ever going directly in. You're just whacking it against it and then it slides off. I don't know if I've ever heard of someone puncturing the boat with a hook, and we've been doing this a long time. Even if you're, you know, a spin guy and you have treble hooks, I don't think that's anything to worry about. If you have the weirdest luck in the world and your buddy drops his pocket knife when you're out in the water, the boat's also not sinking. You have 4 separate air chambers in the tubes and a 5th one in the floor. You can always get back to shore. We include a repair kit, like I said. Very, very durable boat. So one thing that's new that we added with Stealth 2.0 that we never had as an offering on our original Stealth is this front lean bar, also known as a casting brace. If you are watching this and you have an original Stealth or you're purchasing one, you can add this same accessory because it fits that same frame. But this front lean bar is really helpful, especially in those swift water situations or, you know, a windy, wavy day on a lake. So you can just brace with your thighs against this bar. You can even hold on to it, getting in and out of the boat. Your rower can throw you off balance, especially in those, you know, rapid situations. You know, most rapids you're gonna be sitting down, but little rips, class 1 or less, you might be standing and fishing, or just that surprise boulder that, you know, someone wasn't paying attention. This will keep you in the boat. If you are sitting down, relaxing, not fishing, or you just want to be fishing sitting down, you can always just flip that lean bar down and then it's completely out of the way. So our most popular accessory for this boat that comes on most packages, even on our other model boats, is our gear rack back there. That is where you can mount that 3rd seat for kids if you'd like. It's also a great place for your cooler. I always have a dry bag that has a first aid kit, headlights, fire starter kit, changes of clothes, rain gear, that type of thing. All that's in a dry bag back there. Sometimes I have a grill back there. Sometimes we're literally grilling as we're floating, or, you know, we pull over and do it, get out a camp table, camp chairs. In a small boat, we've really maximized as much space as you really could want for a day or even a multi-day trip. With these elevated seats, which is kind of your classic drift boat design where the front person's sitting up a little higher for a vantage point for casting and fishing. I also, when I'm rowing, feel a heck of a lot safer when that person's a little higher, chucking streamers or lures over my head, but it gives you a good amount of storage under the seat. So I might have a cooler and a gear bag under that seat, And then another cooler and other gear bags on the gear rack. There's also room under the rower seat. And then you have that whole area of the floor behind the rower seat as well. I tend to bring a lot of stuff with me, and this boat accommodates it. 2 people, my dog, coolers, grills, all of that. And I'm able to tuck everything away so they're not in the way fishing. Nothing stings more than missing a fish because you tangled your line on something in your boat. And our storage space really optimizes that. You're able to tuck everything away, but also we build this boat from the ground up for line management. There is virtually nothing on this boat to tangle your fly line on. You know, some boats have all sorts of extra D-rings and things sticking off them, and from the curvature for our rod holders, which we'll talk about, to valve placement and everything else, line management is key. Other storage features, we do have a gearbox that can mount on the right side. I don't use that anymore because that is where our lean bar mounts, but if you're not using the lean bar, we have something like this box with a lid that mounts on that side. But we do have a new gear tray offering that mounts behind this front seat, which is a great catch-all. You can put your phone, forceps, fly boxes, things like that in there. It's really light. I think it's about 1 pound. And it just bolts on with 2 bolts on the seat mounting rails. So you can add that accessory if you want. You also have this rod holder system. So our rod holder holds 2 rods, 9-footers, or one can be a 9.5 because the way that they stagger and the fighting butt can stick out here. It's really designed for fly rods, but you can put spin rods in there too. I do that frequently. And you also can mount, we don't have these offerings, but you can ask me about it. But you can mount clamp-on rod holders, so if you're a trolling person and you want the different angles and all that, just like our cup holders that you'll see in a moment here, they just mount to the frame. Same deal with the gear rack. People will mount rod holders there. I've seen people put downriggers, trolling for lake trout, kokanee, that type of thing. Very popular in the Pacific Northwest. People use this boat for crabbing and they put small crab pots on the gear rack. So there's a lot of uses, you know, as fish brained as we are. I love seeing people do spear fishing out of this boat and crabbing and birding and just family floats and all of that. So it doesn't need to be just for the diehard fly fisherman or conventional guy. There's a lot of uses for this boat. With our rod holder, your reels and handles go in this box with this lid when your fly line falls on it. Once again, tangle-free design. Your line can't get tangled up on your reel or your fighting butts, that type of thing. This part's open. That way, whether you're in this seat or this seat, you can easily stash the rod, and then the top half of your rods go up through those tubes. So as great as it is to stand, let's be real, we sit a lot fishing too, especially usually the second half of the float, or sometimes the spooky rivers where you want to keep a low profile. The seats are very comfortable and they're all on sliders so they can be adjusted. So we have recommendations in the videos for the front seat lining up with these braces so that if you're ever not using this, you can still brace with your calves against what we call the reverse lean bar, this plane of these 2 bars in the front edge of the seat. And the rower seat, you'll kind of adjust based off of your height, your arm length, your preference, that type of thing. Another really great thing about these seats is they all swivel, which might not sound like a big deal, but if you've been, you know, in your fishing kayak and all day long, you're reaching back to grab your motor or get gear out of your cooler or your bags, and then like the next day, your back is just killing you. This boat, you just spin the seats around whichever way you want, which makes it really, really convenient for when you're switching places between the front seat and the rower. Some boats, you know, you might pull over to do that or even have to drop anchor. But on the fly, I can spin this seat around and they face each other. One person goes one way, one goes the other. Another great thing about these swiveling seats is, unlike a lot of boats where the only place you can row from is the rower's seat, in this boat, granted it is better, the geometry is better from rowing from the rower's seat, but I love teaching people to row in this boat because I can spin around and help through a tricky situation rather than being like, oh, I don't think you should run this rapid or this stretch of river, it's too tricky for you. You're gonna hurt their feelings, they might get mad at you. And this way, you know, if you think it's worth them giving a go, it's great for teaching kids that way. And then you can just spin around, and if you need a row for the next few hundred feet or even quarter mile to fix a situation, you can do that from that position and then spin back around and go back to your fishing. Another thing with the seats is most of our packages, the Fish and the Pro package, and You can add them to the base package, come with the seat quick releases. Some people choose not to use them because they're never popping their seats off, but if you're an RV person, you have an apartment, a car, or even going rooftop, because each seat is 8 pounds with a swivel. So if you're lifting this boat up 103 pounds and you want to save 16 pounds, you just press a lever and these seats pop right off. It's super easy, literally takes a second to pop the seats on or off. Went over a bunch about durability. As far as quality, we build these frames in Salt Lake City, Utah, as well as pretty much all the accessories, you know, other than the cup holders that Ram Mount makes for us, maybe a couple other things. But high-grade aluminum, hand-built by our crew in Utah. And after everything is welded, bent, welded, powder coated, we pre-assemble every frame before we ship it out. So it's really easy to put together. Like I was telling you about the durability of the PVC, the valves are also the best valves in the market. So they're Lee-Field valves. They're the highest end valve that you can get. So if you were gonna be booking a 14-day Grand Canyon whitewater trip, these are the exact same valves that you'd see in a boat like that. With how easy this frame is to break down, it's only a 7-piece frame. You can see, we'll cut to a broken down picture of it. It's only about 35 pounds and it really is a super easy field assembly. So the 7-piece frame is designed to be put together or broken down super fast. Seriously, within minutes. Once you get good at it, you really can get this boat together in a few minutes. Even if you're, new at it, you should be able to get this whole boat framed, put together, and raft inflated in 15 minutes. So the frame's only 7 pieces. We pair it with tool-free hardware on our Fishing Pro packages. So they're just hand fasteners. After your initial assembly, you don't need any tools in the field. We talked about how easy the seats pop on and off, and then the frame just breaks down into 7 pieces and you're off. So if you are driving that compact car or you have that camper, you have that ability to do that on the go. And we have some field assembly videos on our YouTube channel as well if you want to dive more into that. So in the beginning I was talking about how this boat really is a lot of boats in one, right? Canoe, kayak, stand-up paddleboard, john boat, bass boat, drift boat. This boat, since it does do all of those things, but I think it has less limitations where some of these boats are really specific for certain things. So canoes and kayaks, you really can't safely anchor in current. Our boat is meant to anchor in current like a drift boat. So it has an internally run anchor system. You control it from the rower's seat where there's a cam cleat on the right-hand side to just pop the rope out of that. The anchor drops, pull it up. You have a 2-to-1 mechanical advantage. So if you're using a 20-pound weight, it only feels like 10 pounds as you're picking it up. That also gives you a completely centered anchor point. You have about 20 feet of anchor rope, so that's more than enough for any river. And that centered anchor point, if you've ever sketchily anchored a canoe or any other boat where your anchor is off center and it just starts swaying, you don't have to deal with that with this boat. This boat will plane out in the current while the water rushes under it and keeps you nice and still. If you're a big stillwater person and you need up to like 40 feet of anchor rope, you can undo the 2-to-1 system. Instead of a dual rope coming down, you can have a single rope coming down. Once again, that's stillwater specific because that does change it from being a centered anchor point, which in a lake doesn't matter, but in a river, you're never gonna need more than 20 feet of anchor rope anyway, so stick with the 2-to-1 system. But it's as easy as untying or tying a knot to change that system. So you could do it one way one day, a different way the next. It's no big deal. And you're more than welcome to call me and we can chat more about that. Another thing I really like about this boat versus any other raft I've been in is we run the anchor system inside the frame tube. That's great for a lot of reasons. Your average raft is gonna have a system of pulleys all along the outside of the frame. You are going to catch your fly line on that everywhere. People get their fingers jammed in them. It can be a foot entrapment hazard with your foot by that rope and frame and pulleys and all of that. So the internally run anchor system is not only convenient for fishing, but it makes the boat much safer than a lot of other boats with anchor systems. So another bit of the versatility of this boat is you can put a motor on it. So we rated up to a 2.5 horsepower gas motor or up to a 55-pound thrust trolling motor, which would be an electric, Or there's some of those new fancy electric outboards, which the 3 horses are great for that. You don't want to go too heavy on a motor. This boat scoots around pretty quick. Depending on which style motor you're going with, you can get speeds of 5 to even 8 miles per hour. Once again, 51-inch wide boat, only sitting 3-4 inches deep in the water. It doesn't take much to scoot this boat pretty good. So we'll do a fair amount of river motoring. If you factor plenty of rivers, if you can go 6-7 miles an hour, you're making good ground, getting upstream. But still water, lakes, ponds, that type of thing. So if you want to be trolling or not trolling, but just blasting from point A to point B, this boat gets it done. You also don't need to wait in the boat ramp line because you can just launch from shore anywhere you want. We actually have a lot of customers that use this for the saltwater. We keep a fleet of these down in Baja at a buddy's place and go down and chase rooster fish a lot. But we got that idea from one of our customers that would literally break this boat down into 2 checked bags and do DIY trips down to Mexico where he'd camp on the beach, rent a car, bring his own boat, fly back with it. We did that a few times, then we found a place to store a boat. But this boat is saltwater ready. People use this a lot for chasing redfish off the Texas coast. So if you live in Texas and you want to be chasing reds and specks, we have people that have hooked giant tarpon out of these things in Florida and Belize, Permit, bonefish flats, you name it. I have a camp in Maine that I've done a lot of striper fishing out of this boat. So it's surprisingly versatile, and this boat holds up great in the salt. There's nothing on this boat that's not saltwater ready. Powder coated aluminum, stainless steel, PVC, just like all of your saltwater gear, your fishing rods and reels. After the trip, hose it down good, and you're good to go. Another great thing about this unique sizes of this boat is it can fit in any vehicle. We talked about the trunk of a Corolla, RVs, vans. This boat can fit in the back of virtually any truck, even if you drive a mid-sized truck like a Tacoma with a short bed. With your tailgate down, you're supporting more than half the length of the boat. Only 103 pounds, you just drag this boat across your yard, lift the bow up, put it on your tailgate, and push it in. And then you just throw a strap on it. You don't need a big old long bed truck or even a trailer. You can trailer it if you want, but it's gonna work on virtually any vehicle. Same with rooftop. And a lot of people wonder about rooftop and they're like, well, I probably can't drive very fast then. This boat's rigid with the floor and the frame. I mean, our highways out here in the West are 80 miles an hour, and to be honest, I'm probably going 85 with this thing up on the roof. If it's a long drive, I will see my gas mileage affected. So sometimes I'll just unstrap the frame from the boat, which is just 5 straps, takes a few seconds to do. Then I'll throw the frame up on the roof, so it's a lot more aerodynamic. Maybe remove the seats, maybe not, that's your call. But usually if I'm going 2 hours or less, I just eat a little bit extra gas money and put the whole boat up there. And we talked about how easy it is if you do want to break it down, so that's always an option as well. Same thing with storage. So if you got a garage like this, you're probably just gonna leave it like this, ready to go. We have plenty of customers that have garages that we're jealous of with big tall ceilings, and they'll literally drive their vehicle in, hook up some straps and hoist it off the roof, and it just stays suspended. But it's pretty easy to tuck away, lean against a wall. In the off season, I might, if I need to make space, or if you don't have a garage or space, you can always break it down, roll it up, or something I like to do is I'll just leave the frame together, hang it on some hooks on the wall, or lean it up somewhere, and then roll up the raft. So it's really easy to store if you're a fishing guy and you're out there all the time and you want to just put a boat cover on it, tarp it, that type of thing while it's on your trailer. That's also fine. We just recommend keeping it out of the sun when not in use. I'm not talking about that bucket list trip where you're gonna spend a month traveling around, fishing all the spots you've ever wanted to. That's fine, it can be out for that. But try not to just leave it out in the sun year round. Yeah, so regardless if you live in an apartment, maybe you live in a Sprinter van, maybe you have a big old garage or a house with a barn, it really doesn't matter. Same with what kind of vehicle that you want. This boat will work for you, and if you have questions on that, give me a call, shoot me an email. We like problem solving, and tell me what vehicle you have and what your storage is, and we'll let you know how it's gonna work. Once you get to the water, it's really easy to unload. We do have videos where we show how to solo load this boat onto the roof of a Subaru or an SUV. You can imagine how easy it is to do it into a truck as well. We also have tutorials on how to strap it down. Once you get to the water though, we don't recommend dragging this on pavement, cement, more uniform surfaces like that. It's amazing the difference of like a boulder field or gravel or grass, like that stuff that actually holds up really well too. So if you are at that spot where you got to kind of park at a parking lot and get it to the water, there's 2 handles on either side that you can carry it from. My preference is actually to carry it from the front and back if there's 2 of us. So we will utilize that front handle, and then in the back you just grab the rear of the frame. And it's really easy to carry. If there's longer carries, sometimes I'll just hook a strap to those and wear it on my shoulder to support the weight of the boat, and then just kind of balance it. It is also incredibly easy to just throw this thing on a little boat cart, kayak cart. We hope to have our own cart out sometime soon, but in the meantime, I'm happy to give you recommendations. It's pretty easy to hop online and buy a $35 or $65 kayak cart and just by yourself. You lift the back of the boat up, slide the cart under it, then it balances out and you just wheel it wherever you want. So really easy to do. Longer carries if I'm alone and it's rough terrain. Sometimes I'll just unstrap the frame and do 2 trips, and just 1 trip with the frame, come back for the boat. So it's real easy. We even have people that pack these into places. They're a little more ambitious than me. I have done it a few times, but with the way the frame can bundle up, one person can wear the frame on their back, with some straps, and then you can roll up this boat and put it in a backpack as well, or on a strap system and pack it in. I know people that do it miles, which also, like I said, you can put this thing as check bags on airlines. And a lot of people use it for like bush plane fly-ins too, to get dropped off in remote places for adventures. We mentioned dogs. You've probably seen Pasta, our famous fishing dog, in most of our videos. We highly encourage you to take your dog along. This is another frequent question is, can dogs damage the boat? And the answer is no. I can see no way that they can do it. Never heard of it happening. I've had 3 customers that had grizzly bears attack their boats. Different story, but we helped them out. But yeah, dogs, there's plenty of room for the dog. They're not going to throw you off balance if you've ever been on a paddleboard or a kayak and your dog got excited about something and boom, you're in the water. That's not going to happen with this. Pasta will kind of run laps around this boat, but there's a lot of really convenient places for her to sit. Mid-size and smaller dogs can actually even sit on the seats, the front floor of the boat, under the frame. Even in the rower's cockpit, it's kind of amazing that your dog can be sitting, laying, even standing, looking at one way, and they're out of the way of the oars. And there's a lot of room behind the rower seat as well. Those are the places that I normally have her ride along. She likes to be close and get pet. But I do see a lot of people put pads or some sort of mat down on the gear rack and their dog rides up there, so that works. That gear rack also is great, I failed to mention earlier, for duck decoys. This boat is a very, very popular duck hunting boat. So you can load it up with duck decoys. You can add, I've seen people build very elaborate pop-up blinds with this 1.25" frame tubing. It's really easy to attach things like this, or even just drape some camo material on it, or just, keep it simple and do a cast and blast. But it's a great duck hunting boat. People also use it for a lot of big game hunts. So I know a lot of people that take it in for whitetail or mule deer hunts, that type of thing. So at Flycraft, we say we're the most versatile boat in the world, and honestly, I really think we are. It's a hybrid of all those other boats that I mentioned, anywhere from a kayak or canoe to a john boat to a bass boat to a drift boat. It goes all the same places, but you're not limited to one specific type of water. Small streams, big rivers, lakes, the ocean. It does it all. You don't need a garage, you don't need a truck. This boat will work with any vehicle. You can be tall, short, the rowing position's gonna work for you, the lean bar is gonna be comfortable for you. And so it's great for adults, kids, women, retired folks. It is just going to be the boat that is going to be the easiest for just about any situation, any sort of storage, transport, or type of water.